Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Polish Tier 7 medium tank, the CS44. And if you haven't guessed by the title, as always, this is the third mock video for the tank on the channel. And yeah, it's a tank that I really enjoyed. It's not the best medium tank in the universe, but on the whole, I just love playing it. And I did this a little while ago. I did this while Randy was doing his. He was like, oh, I'm going to 3-mock the CS44 because he was 3-mocking up the line at that point. It was like, well, alright, and I'll join you playing it because it's still fairly new at that point. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I ended up doing it alongside with him as well. Now, I play the CS44 with the 100mm gun. And the 100mm gun has 168 pen, 220 pen on the heat rounds. Now, this gun hasn't got the best reload, and it is kind of derpy, but it hits for 300, and honestly I like the 300 alpha at the tier. It just makes me happy because I just feel like I'm doing a good amount of damage when I'm actually shooting people, because the other gun on this tank is probably slightly better. Well, it's probably, I say probably slightly, it is better really. It's the 90mm gun. It's got 240 alpha. It's got less pen because it's got like 160 and 202 instead of the 168 220. Premium on that one is APCR though, which is nice. The heat rounds on this tank were kind of irritating because sometimes you would shoot things in the side and it just get absorbed, and that is kind of annoying when it does that. It also fires faster on the 90mm, and you have 8 degrees of gun depression instead of 6, which is what you get with the 100mm. But it's down to playstyle, it's down to preference, and for me personally, I loved this 100mm. It was really nice to play for me. Like, I see the 9.3 second reload is long, but you just have that that extra 60 damage in this 6.0 world where the damage RNG is more likely to low roll. Generally, I averaged 280, 290 rolls consistently with this gun, whereas with the 240 alpha gun it was more like 200, 210 generally. And yeah, that's why I prefer this gun, because it just rolls high enough very often and it's generally nice. And obviously it is slightly more derpy, but with 6.0, if you fully aim the shots, it's pretty much going to go where you aim it, because that's just the way it is these days. So the CS44, what's it like with its armour? Well, it doesn't really have any, but it does have the type of armour where it will just ricochet shots like you've just seen off the turret, because it has very little armour. But people hit angles, and angles do bounce things, and that's nice. So we're on Prokhorovka, and we've taken this really aggressive spot. Well, I say really aggressive. We've taken this spot on the ridgeline here, which is where I always go, and it always ends up yielding a good amount of spotting, and if you can keep the gun going like we have here, a good amount of damage. I mean, you've seen what the spotting's like. We're keeping that one line lit up with them being fairly aggressive. We've ended up with 3.7k spotting, 2.4k damage from it. This is more than enough to get the third mark at the time, because at the time it was about 2,400, I think it was, or 2,300, which is quite high for a tier 7, but that's because it was brand new and a lot of people were playing it. And it was within the first 2 weeks, so a lot of the people that had already played through the tank were already good, so generally the mark is quite high. So we have done enough, way more than enough to be fair. I mean, we're what, 6.7k combined, which is really a mad amount for a tier 7 medium tank. And we shut down that CS44. We get lucky that we don't actually perish to that MXAC48 there, because he ends up ricocheting off us. That's what I'm talking about with the armour. It's not good armour. You don't ever want to expect to bounce things with the armour, but it will ricochet the odd shot, and that's quite nice in the fact that you just survive. Where if you know, it's like playing a CDC, right? The CDC will never bounce anything unless you literally hit it in the gun, but this will. It's nice. So we get a nice shot into the artillery there. We're just waiting for the reload. We don't want to die here because we're at 7.3k combined. If I can get one more shot in, I'll be happy. Unfortunately, we missed the Vanguard. The Vanguard YOLOs a shot into us on the move, because that's just what Vanguards do, unfortunately. And we can't quite get the shot on him as he goes over that ridgeline. But I'm waiting for him to possibly go back up a ridgeline. He does. Unfortunately, we miss again. The bad accuracy and the bad aiming from me coming into play. The Vanguard gets him spotted, so it's like, right, okay, we're going to go chasing after it. We want that extra shot of damage. It would just be nice to have. He's there. We're going to aim, lead the shot, slap it in, get out of here, pest. And we finish the game with a very, very good tally for a tier 7 medium tank generally. And a very nice game for if you wanted to have a third mark game or a game to get towards a third mark. So that was 8k combined for a tier 7 medium tank. Ace Tanker, Confederate were at 93.7. I think there was another game or two in between this one and the next one that pushes up to like 94.5. And 2.3k base XP. A fantastic game for a tier 7 medium tank. That's 8k combined. That was great. And that's exactly what you want when you're 3 marking. If you can get that sort of game, if you can get proc in a medium tank that's got decent view range, then you can just farm spotting and you can get like big jumps on Mark of Excellence like that. So we're on to the second game. In the second game, we're against tier 8s again, and we're on Sand River. Now Sand River is a tank. It's a map that I love. I've always loved Sand River. It's a great map. I feel like they've moved some of the spawns about a little bit, because I'll always mention it in every video, and that is that this spawn that we've got here, this ridgeline here, is so much better now than the other spawn's ridgeline, because you do catch people out in the open like this Oni, but they get to their ridgeline and they probably get 1 or 2 shots at the people that go onto the one line dune from our spawn, whereas it used to be you catch basically the whole team going up if they did go up there, and you could get a good amount of assist and a good amount of damage out. But now they tend to get onto the ridgelines incredibly quickly, and for the most part you aren't safe on that ridge. For me, if they take the positions at like K5, 6, I can duck down and I can stay safe. I can stay safe from their fire, whereas for them on the opposite ridge they can't. They are not safe from the fire of the dunes. They have to basically, if they start getting shot at from the dunes, they have to get out of there or come down into the lower ground to attack. That's just the unfortunate thing for their team, and that never used to be the case, so it feels like they moved the spawn slightly forward or something like that. It's like when they did it with Arctic region, and the teams used to spawn further forward towards a rock, and there used to be like a brawl going off in the low ground along the K line on the Arctic region, or the J line, whichever one it is, I can't quite remember. But then they moved it all backwards for the southern spawn, so that fight can never happen. So you very rarely get all the way across that area without being able to get into the low ground, and you get shot and die, basically. It's just the way it is. So yeah, but Sand River, I still love it. And on Sand River, you can see what this position can net you if you've not got as much attention from those dunes, in the south. And we're getting we've got a nice shot in there into the STA2. We're up to 2.7k damage, with about 3k combined, which is really nice. It's about what we need really to start moving up. So anything else now that we get damage-wise is bonus. Unfortunately, we end up ricocheting off the side of the turret of the Tiger 1. That's just unfortunate. We're going to slam a shot through though for 267. Like I said, this gun feels like it packs a punch, and that's why I really like it, even though it is a slow reload. We're hopefully going to get the reload for the IS. I didn't think I was quite going to reload in time for him, but we do. But unfortunately miss our shot. And this is where this position is probably a little bit more advantageous for Randy though, because Randy does run the 90mm, and he's got 8 degrees of gun depression, whereas I've got 6. So it makes it a little bit more awkward. It means I've got to come up on top of the ridgeline a little bit more to get it, but hey ho, it is what it is. We get a nice shot into the Tiger 1 there. That's 3.2k damage. We're just watching the CS53 above us, which is our tier 8 brother. It's a very dangerous tank, and we don't want that guy taking advantage of this position. And unfortunately I end up bouncing Randy's shot there, just so I can shoot the Tiger. But then I don't capitalise on it. Oh, god damn, we bounce on the Tiger. So now that really the dunes behind us are probably a little bit preoccupied, we're going to pop up on this ridgeline, be a bit aggressive, get a shot into the CS53 auto-aimed. We ended up tracking him as well, which is nice. Unfortunately, he got 2 shots into me for that 1 shot into him. But now he's focusing on Randy, so we're just going to tag team him here. I get a nice shot into him again there, but then we're now getting shot from behind. It's like, oh my goodness me, I've got to get out of here. Randy gets artilleried. I'm not in a good position here. I expect to perish, but even if I do die here, I'm just going to make sure I get one more. Well, I'm saying going to make sure I'm going to get one more shot. I'll try to get one more shot. Even if, which I do perish, we end up with 3.7k damage, 724 assistance, which is more than enough. We get the Confederate, the third mark of excellence, 1076 assistance, XP, base XP that is. And like I said, we get the third mark of excellence. It's not the best tank in the universe, the CS44, but I really enjoyed it. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!